Hello, my dear students of class 6. Welcome back to our English class. As we have been discussing in our previous class, we are going to continue with the chapter Desert Animals. Okay, Desert Animals, continuation of what we have done in our previous class. And then we have just come halfway. The other day we have been discussing about how desert animals try to adapt themselves to the very humid weather conditions in the desert. We have also learned about the different kinds of desert. Some will be only sand dunes. We will also find some rocky and pebbly desert. We will find some bushy desert, and some deserts are sprinkled with flowers during the spring, isn't it? And we have just started discussing about animals. We know that rattlesnake is a kind of animal that is found in the desert. Not only the rattlesnake, but there are so many kinds of reptiles found in the desert. There are so many kinds of rodents. Rodents means mouse, rats, okay. All those things comes under the rodent category, and so there will be so many rodents found in the desert. And we have even started discussing about the mongoose, right? If I ask you a question, what kind of animal is a mongoose? I'm sure you will be having some kinds of answers in your mind. They are a group of animals which always like to travel in groups. Whenever they go out for hunting, they are always on the lookout for predators. That means there can be some animals that will be wanting to attack them. So they are always on the lookout, especially like the eagles, like the snakes. Those are some things that they look out for. And whenever they go out, they would turn every rock with their paws. I told you that the hands of the mongoose will be called as paws and not hands, right? And then they will start scratching on the ground to find the food with their claws. That's what we have discussed. I'm just going to teach you 2 word meanings for this session. One I've already taught you in the previous class, but we are going to be using that same word again. That's why I'm going to show that to you. Yes, forage, we have already done that in a previous class. Forage means search for food. Let's repeat, forage, search for food. And next, dodge, move quickly to avoid its enemy. Let's repeat, dodge, move quickly to avoid its enemy. You play dodgeball at school? Yes, you have done that during the school sports week, or even during the break you have played dodgeball, right? Your friends will try to hit you with the ball when you are inside the circle, but you try to escape that. That is dodging, okay? You are trying to escape. So here dodge also means move quickly in order to avoid its enemy. So those are the 2 word meanings for this session. So I want you to memorize it and keep it in your mind. Yes, we have already discussed about these things. Mongooses hunt in groups. They keep in touch whenever they are in hiding. Okay, so whenever there is a danger, they would go behind rocks, they would go behind big stones and bushes, and they would hide. But they would always communicate with one another by twittering. They cannot talk like us, so they have to twitter, right? And also they call out to each other. They make sure that the other one is safe, and that's why they twitter and call out. Sometimes even human beings, when we cannot talk out, we whistle to one another and talk, or we make movements, we show facial expressions and talk to each other, isn't it? And so likewise, even the mongooses, they talk to each other by twittering and calling out even if they are in hiding. They might not be able to see one another, but they make sure that the other one is safe, and they always try to keep in touch. They always look out for danger, okay? They make sure that they don't fall into danger, because there can be dangerous animals that are preying on them, that are willing to eat them up, that are ready to eat them up whenever they get the opportunity. Okay, they warn one another with special alarm whenever they spot anything suspicious. Whenever they are suspicious about something, if there's a danger, they would always warn one another, or even if they find a food, they would always call one another together and have it. That is the friendship of the mongoose. They don't want to go out separately or individually. That means they are not selfish. In our term, we can say they're social beings, right? Human beings want to be in society. That's why we call ourselves as social beings. Likewise, even a mongoose can be considered social creature. Yes, these are mongooses, okay? They are roaming out in groups, right? As I said, they always want to go out in group. They always look out for hawks, eagles, and large snakes, okay? These are hawks and eagles. They are just from one family, okay? Eagle family. I said rodent family, and we can even say the eagle family here. And hawk is a kind of eagle only. So they're always on the lookout for this kind of things because these creatures attack them. I have not given you the picture of a snake because I'm sure everyone knows how a snake looks like, and it's not very pleasant to be looking at that every time, isn't it? And mongooses are famous for their ability to kill snakes without getting hurt. Every creature is scared of snake, but a mongoose has the ability. They are known for the ability that they are able to kill a snake without getting hurt. Because we are all scared of snakes. It's poisonous. It's scary to look at. But for a mongoose, it would always be attacking the snake, and then they will try to make the snake feel tired, and after that only they make their move to attack it. Yes, they can dodge each time the snake strikes. That means whenever the snake tries to strike the mongoose, it can dodge. It can always escape. I've told you the meaning of dodge, right? Moving quickly to escape its enemy. So it would always be dodging around, and it would continually trick the snake until it gets tired. See, it's very tricky, isn't it? A mongoose would continually be tricking the snake, moving around, jumping around whenever the snake tries to attack it. And then when the tired snake cannot move anymore, then it makes its move to attack the snake. They make their move to kill when the snake is tired, and that's what we have just discussed. And if all female mongooses give birth at the same time, they give birth at a particular time. And that is a special quality of the mongoose again. They will all give birth at the same time, and the mongoose kittens, we call kittens, okay? For human beings, we call babies, but for a mongoose, we will call it kittens, and even for a cat, we call kittens, isn't it? And so they're in the same family, we call kittens. All the kittens of the mongoose would be raised in a group, not looked after by one single mother. If you were your parent, yes, everyone is the parents' children, okay? So your parents will look after you and not the whole village, isn't it? I'm sure the whole village doesn't look after a baby, but the mongoose, they are not like that. The whole group would be raised in a group. All the kittens would be put together in a place, and they will find food together for them. As I said, mongooses want to move out in group. And they would be raised in a den or a termite mound. You know what is termite? Small insect that live in the ground. They would build their houses with mud, right? They would build their habitat. We cannot say houses. They will build their dwelling place with mud, and they would be in the termite mound or hollow log. That means there would be some trees which are hollow, right? There will be hole inside that you can even enter. So a mongoose baby is raised from those kind of hollow logs, termite mound, or their den. And some adults would go looking out for food as usual. They want to go out, right? And one or two male guards the kitten. That means they are always in group. The others will go out, but there will be one or two that stand guard. They would be guarding the small kittens because they might be attacked by any predators and by any creature that may want to kill them. In order to avoid this, there will be one or two males, okay, who would be standing guard of the kittens. Yes, these are some pictures of mongooses, right? These are some small kittens of mongoose. And here we see that a male mongoose is guarding some small kittens here. Even here we see that they are not single, but they are in group. And so mongooses are always taken care of in group by some male members when the others go out for food and wait until they return for the night. And another animal that we will be discussing is the camel, okay? Camels, it is a very popular animal that is found in the desert. We all have heard, isn't it? We say the camel is the sheep of the desert, and people, you have even heard and studied that people travels in the desert through camels because we cannot drive our cars and go there, right? There is no train service that is passing through the desert, so people travel in the desert through the camel, okay? Domesticated thousands of years ago. So that means in the earlier days, camels were wild animals. You know what is wild animals, right? Animals that are found in the jungle are called wild animals, which are tamed at home or which are kept at home are called as domestic animals. But camels have been domesticated thousands of years ago, seeing that they are very useful animals. And they live in a group of up to 30 in the wild, especially when they're in the group, okay, in the wild. That means when they were not domesticated, you will find around 30. They can even group up to 30 and live together. So like the mongooses, even the camels live in the desert in group, or live in the wild in group and not single. When it is domesticated, that is another thing, because a person may not be able to bring 20-30 camels to his place. They may be having only 1 or 2, but usually camels are found in groups, and it can even be found up to 30 camels in a group when they are still living in the wild. And their specialty to adapt themselves, I told you that desert animals have the ability to adapt themselves to the hot weather conditions, right? So in the summer or in the winter, they have long shaggy coat in winter to keep themselves warm. Coat means, you know, they have the hairs which are long, and in the winter they get shorter and tighter coat in the summer. Okay, in the summer, in order to keep their body cool, what do? They have shorter and tighter coat. So that is how they manage to adapt themselves to the changing weather conditions in the desert. And a camel can drink as much as 30 gallons of water in 10 minutes. I'm talking about 10 minutes here, okay? Some of you may be thinking it's a big animal, so it will be possible for him, okay? But in just 10 minutes, 500 glasses. In 10 minutes, how many glasses of water can you drink? If I force you, or if anyone forces you, maybe you can drink up to 4 or 5 glasses, but that becomes too difficult. Forcing yourself to drink water is also something difficult. If you are very thirsty, we never know, you may drink even 5-6 glasses in 10 minutes. Let's keep in mind that we are talking about 10 minutes and not in a day. But a camel, when a camel is thirsty, they can drink up to 30 gallons of water. That is equal to 500 glasses of water. And whenever they don't get water, okay, we know that we cannot find water easily in the desert. Whenever they cannot find water in the desert, they get moisture. They eat the plants that are found in the desert, and from there they extract the moisture, and they try to quench their thirst. Okay, they try to satisfy their thirst by eating the plants that are found in the desert, and they can even survive up to 10 months without water. They can survive up to 10 months without water. And one more quality that I want you to know is a camel is able to adapt itself in so many ways, not just in the water, okay? It can even eat the plants, okay, the cactus that are found in the desert, because its mouth is rough, okay? The mouth of the camel is very tough that the thorns cannot prick into the mouth. That is why it can eat any kinds of plants that are found in the desert, whether it's thorny or prickly, okay? And there are 2 types of camels. There will be many of us here who does not know that there are different types of camels. This is called the dromedary camel, okay? You can see the name here, dromedary camel. This is the dromedary camel. You find only 1 hump. You know what is the hump? This is called the hump of the camel, okay? This part is called the hump. And so, in the dromedary camel, you will find only 1 hump. And there is another type of camel. You will find the double hump here. You see the hump here, right? 1 hump here and 1 hump here. So this is called the back-trained camel. Look at this. The back-trained camel will have 2 humps. And these humps are not just there for the sake of being there, but it has special quality, okay? It has a special capability that will help the camel to survive in the desert again. So do you know the 2 types of the camels here? Dromedary camel, that is the camel with a hump, and the other one is back-trained camel, the camel which has a double hump, these 2 humps, okay? And yes, the advantage of having a hump. We are not camels, so we don't have humps. But for the camel, it has so many advantages, okay? It has so many advantages that it helps the camel. Let's see. It helps it to survive in the desert. How? Okay? Acts as a storage containers. Storage container, you know. You store water in the bucket. You store water in some containers. And so likewise, for the camel, it acts as a storage containers. But don't misunderstand it here. There are some people who think that the camel can store water on the hump. It's not like that, okay? It does not fill the hump with water. But one special thing is they are full of fats which nourishes the camel when there is no food. You know what is fats, right? If you want to have pork, there are so many fats there. So likewise, there are fats stored in the hump of the camel, and those fats help the camel to nourish itself. Nourish means that makes the camel feel better when there is no food or when there is no water. And then the hump shrink when fats are used up. So slowly, if the camel had not been drinking water or not been eating food for so many months, the hump shrinks down. That means the humps come down. And then, as I said, the tough mouths can chew even sharp thorns. That is how it helps, okay? Not only the hump, the camel has so many qualities. It can travel for so many days and months without food and water. That is one thing. It's because of the hump that helps it to nourish the body. And so the hump even helps the camel. It is not just for a showpiece. And then we also got to know that the mouth of the camel is tough, that it can chew, okay? You know what is chewing, right? We chew our food before swallowing it. And so the camel will just be able to chew any kind of plant. And you find it difficult to touch a cactus. If you touch a cactus by mistake, it will prick your hands. Unless you have some protection, unless you have some gloves or some kind of protection, your hands get pricked and then you feel the pain, you get hurt. But for a camel, it can just chew up the cactus too because of the rough mouth that it has. So that is why it can survive for so many months in the desert. And there are different kinds of animals in the desert, as we have discussed: the snakes, the mongooses, rodents, eagles, camels, beetles, etc. Those are some animals that we have discussed about. Every animal is created with a special ability to adapt themselves to their environment. Every animal, and not only animals, but you and I, okay? We are made in such a way that we are able to adapt ourselves. If you have been living in a cold weather region for so long, you find yourself adapting to it very well. Your body adapts to it, or there are certain things that are done by yourself, okay? There are certain measures that are taken by yourself in order to get yourself adapted. So likewise, animals are like that. With this, we are going to end our class for today. I want to thank you all so much for listening to me, and please go through your text. Continue to go through the text and find more details about the animals that are found in the desert.